Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to coverage of Audubon Green Wave Baseball here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. It's a Colonial Conference match here on this warm and sunny Tuesday afternoon between the Paulsboro Red Raiders and the Audubon Green Wave. Here from Paulsboro, the temporary fence behind me, and we have ourselves a great day of baseball ahead. With my graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel and Caleb Lane, my producer Donna Wilkins, and myself, Dan Wilkins, we welcome you to coverage of the Green Wave and the Red Raiders here in Paulsboro. It's going to be a good one today. Remember, Paulsboro is on a 5-game winning streak going into today's game, and the reigning South Jersey Group 1 runner-ups are still looking for more to prove after a rocky start to the season, encapsulated by the 5-game winning streak that we have going into today. For Paulsboro so far this year, they are currently 8-7 with a 2-3 record in the Colonial Liberty Division. Their last loss came at the Al Hedelt tournament on April 22nd with a loss to Cedar Creek, but they won versus Oakcrest and followed that with a convincing win over Salem, another one over Gateway, and 2 back-to-back one-run victories. 2-1 win over Gloucester on the 5th and a 5-4 win over Collingswood on the 8th. For the starting lineups today, starting with the visiting Audubon Green Wave as coached by Rich Horan, it's Tyler Wiltsey at shortstop batting leadoff, Ryan Zimmer behind the plate batting second, Scott Lynch is the first baseman batting third, Charlie Grady is in left field batting fourth, Trent Bannell is the right fielder batting fifth, Jack Dempsey is the second baseman batting sixth, Joey Slavin is the DH batting seventh, Nick Caladros is on the hill, he bats eighth, and Charlie Copsetta is in center field batting ninth. Gabe McCracken will play third base but will not be in the field. For the Red Raiders, as coached by John Marcucci Jr. is the shortstop batting leadoff, Dante Honorado is behind the plate, he is the second baseman batting second. The number 2 jersey number threw me off. The catcher will be Hunter Zubek, he bats third. Doug King will be the third baseman, he bats fourth. Luke Hinkle is the pitcher today for Paulsboro batting fifth. Shea McFadden is the center fielder batting sixth. Rocco Pellegrini is the first baseman batting seventh for the Red Raiders. Number 17, Connor Haynes, the sophomore, he's the DH batting eighth, and Matt Hill is the right fielder batting ninth. In left field will be Donald Wilson, the junior, but he will not play at the plate. So, folks, we got a great one today between two of the top competitors in the Colonial Liberty Division, the Green Wave and the Red Raiders. I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you in just a couple minutes with first pitch starting lineups and more here from the Paulsboro High School Athletic Complex. please. Here from the Paulsboro High School Athletic Complex, we've got a colonial clash here on this sunny Tuesday afternoon between the Audubon Green Wave and the Paulsboro Red Raiders. Both teams in their respective huddles, and Paulsboro in their red and whites take the field for this afternoon clash between two of the top teams in the Liberty Division, considering that Paulsboro is coming off of a 5-game win streak where they beat teams like Oakcrest, Sterling, Gateway, Gloucester and Collingswood. Of course, those last 2 games were a lot more closer than the previous 3 before them. They beat Oakcrest 8-4 in the Al Hidelt tournament. They beat Salem 18-2. They beat Gateway 16-1. And then 2 one-run games, 2-1 versus Gloucester and 5-4 versus Collingswood. Audubon beat Gloucester in a shellacking, to say the least, 18-2 yesterday, which was definitely an interesting game considering that Gloucester looked like they were on a no-hit watch for themselves, but after a close play at shortstop, they scored it in a hit instead of an error, which is one of those things about scorers' discrepancies that can really throw somebody off their game. So Lynch gave up a couple runs, but Audubon was able to rebound, and they scored 7 runs in the 7th inning to take it home decidedly. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for both sides here. Starting today with the Audubon Green Wave, as coached by Rich Horan. It's Tyler Wiltsey at shortstop batting leadoff. Ryan Zimmer is the catcher batting second. Scott Lynch is the first baseman batting third. Charlie Grady is the left fielder batting cleanup. Trent Bennell, the sophomore right fielder, he bats fifth. And Jack Dempsey will be at second base batting sixth. Joey Slavin will be the DH batting seventh. Nick Caladros is on the hill batting eighth, and Charlie Copsetta is the center fielder batting ninth. Gabe McCracken will be at third base in the field only. As Luke Hinkle gets set to face the Green Wave for the first time in this 2023 season. Audubon going into this game 14-4. Paulsboro going in 8-7, 2-3 in their Colonial Liberty division. Hinkle getting set here, the senior right-hander, versus the sophomore shortstop who was voted NewJersey.com Freshman of the Year across the entire state. And he's really proven that sophomore slumps do not apply to Tyler Wiltsey. But here we go. Hinkle is set, stares down his catcher, Dante Honorado, and the first pitch is down and in, and we're underway. Excuse me, the catcher is Hunter Zubek. Catcher is Zubek, and it's 1-0. Honorado is at second base, but I kept getting confused by the scorecard because he plays position number 4 on the sheet. But here's a ground ball. Out to short, picked up, throw across by Marcucci is in time, and there's one away. And we are underway. 6-3 ground out, bringing up Zimmer. First pitch is a ball, 1-0. No scoreboard around here, nowhere to take count, so we will have to be on our own in that regard, as we were the last couple of games that weren't at home. But I know in Buna we had to take care of the count pretty conservatively because there was a scoreboard at Corolla Field, but it was out of view from where we were. We were actually kind of snugged up behind it a little bit. So
No doubt that last one was a strike.
1-1. And there's 2. Borderline call there. But Wiltsey grounds out to the shortstop to start the ball game here in Paulsboro. There's a strike, 2-2. Hinkle this year, a 2.94 ERA for the senior right-hander, 16 strikeouts in 16 2/3 innings. This is his 7th appearance of the year. He pitched 2 innings versus Audubon in a 10-0 Mercy Rule loss. Pitched another 2 versus Haddon Township, pitched 4 2/3 versus Pittman, and a full 7 back on the 22nd, which was a couple Fridays ago. A full 7-inning win, 92 pitches, and an 8-4 win over the Oakcrest team. And then pitched 1 inning on the 5th versus Gloucester. So Hinkle getting back into the swing of things. 18 hits, 18 runs, but just 7 of those runs earned, which kind of say something about the state of your defense when you have 11 more unearned runs than you do earned runs. There's a swing and a miss. Hinkle strikes out Zimmer, and there's 2 down. So a swinging strikeout brings up Scott Lynch, the senior first baseman. He had a good outing versus Gloucester yesterday. Took a no-hitter into the 5th inning, but then just a couple of discrepancies in the defense and a couple of errors on Audubon's part took him out of it, and Bryce Dempsey closed it out for the last 2 innings in what we had as a 17-2 game, but my scorebook was wrong. NJ.com has it as 18-2, so I mean, it didn't affect the outcome either way. Not like the Timber Creek Audubon game where our mistake ended up, you know, and it ended up being an impactful one, but should be 2-0 to Scott Lynch. After this would be the senior left fielder Charlie Grady. First 3 for Paulsboro will be John Marcucci, the shortstop, Dante Honorado, the second baseman, and Hunter Zubek, the catcher. Swing and a miss, and it's 2-1. Tomorrow we've got a DWB showcase down at Alcyon Park in Pittman. The Green Wave, not the Green Wave, excuse me. The Maple Shade Wildcats go out to play the Pittman Panthers. As here's a pop-up first base side, and that'll be out of play. Really no fences down the foul line, so I think there is a white chalk outline showing what's in and out of play, considering that that's important for deciding where everybody can sit, but going to be a 2-strike count, 2 balls, 2 strikes to Lynch, and the pitch is going to be a cricket pitch, a little bit short, and it's 3-2. 2 up, 2 down for Audubon as Hinkle gets settled in here for the Red Raiders. Lynch trying to avoid a perfect inning, and he will do so with a walk. Fastball just a hair upstairs from the righty. And that's going to bring up Charlie Grady. So the southpaw Hinkle with a runner on first and 2 down facing Charlie Grady. He takes a hefty hack for a swing and a miss. 0-1. Really not a huge breeze this afternoon, a slight one, but still some wonderful weather here in Paulsboro. As there's another whiff, and it's 0-2. So as we said, Maple Shade and Pittman will be our DWB showcase on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. 4 o'clock start time at Alcyon Park. Green Wave come back home on Thursday for a 4 o'clock matchup versus the Haddonfield Bulldogs. Here's the 0-2. Grady gets a piece of it, and it's foul. 0-2. And then on Friday, DWB will have a showcase with Camden Catholic and Cherry Hill West, but that depends on whether Cherry Hill West wins their game in the Diamond Classic quarterfinals versus Buna today, as that one is upstairs. Kevin Minnick is down there at Corolla Field. We're checking in on the score. Last I checked, it was scoreless after 1, but I will take a look, because as we know, the Diamond Classic is, even though Audubon is out of it, the unofficial, official South Jersey Championship. Here's a fly ball out towards left center, over the head of McFadden. And in fact, it's over the head of the left fielder as well. McFadden throws it in all the way to third as Charlie Grady. He is saved. Just got under the tag. RBI triple, Charlie Grady, and it's 1-0 Green Wave.
More plays coming. Let's make the next play.
So here is Trent Bennell. So Wiltsey scores, or rather Lynch scores, after he walked and came all the way around on the triple.
It's funny, we were talking about how we haven't had many triples this season, and in the last 24 hours, that's our third.
Yeah. Had Charlie Copsetta yesterday. What did we also have yesterday? We had
there's two.
I think Tyler Wiltsey had one as well,
Yeah.
but
That's
and then
okay. We'll take it.
Charlie Grady with a 2-out triple here for the Green Wave as Trent Bannell, the sophomore, takes outside 1-0.
We should try talking about how they haven't hit any home runs.
Well, we did mention that at some point.
Yeah.
Considering that Audubon was tied with Paulsboro last year for second most home runs in the Colonial Conference, each team had 14, and they were both second to West Deptford, who had 19 long balls on the year. And West Deptford doesn't even have a relatively favorable hitter's park. They're right around middle of the road down there at Union Field. I would say this is a hitter's park, considering the dimensions are shorter than what you would expect for a high school field. And some teams that were further down on the list, like Haddonfield, I think they had 5 or 6 in the regular season last year, as there's a walk to Banal. But they also have a ginormous pitcher's park. It's 400 feet to center field, and it's almost like an MLB size field when it's, you know, a high school field. You got a lot more ground to cover. And you look at something like Gloucester Catholic. We were just talking with Bill Gore. He was stopping by before going back to Brooklawn. They have a game between Cherokee and Gloucester Catholic at 5:30 at a field with no lights and no fence. It was just kind of, I was trying to schedule maybe a DWB showcase with Bill about Gloucester Catholic, and he's like, well, the only reason why it's not a great idea is because there's no fence. And my jaw hung open. I was like, oh my God, you guys don't have a fence. And I didn't even realize that. I had never been by that field before to check it out, so I had no idea. It's going to be 1-1 to Jack Dempsey, the 6th batter of the inning for the Green Wave. As we have a runner on first and third with 2 down. Hinkle kicks and deals, and a foul ball over towards Hill and right, but he'll let that one go. And it's 1-2. Again, Paulsboro coming into this one with a 5-game winning streak, but 2 of those 5 wins, the most recent ones, were one-run games. 2-1 versus Gloucester and 5-4 versus Collingswood. And getting a free start is Trent Bennell, but it's not going to matter, as here is a ground ball, throw to first. And it's in time at first. That was a bit of a chaotic play, but it counts the same. Paulsboro allows Audubon to strand runners on the corners. We go to the bottom of the first. Red Raiders with their first chance to hit in a 1-0 Green Wave ball game. Here in the bottom of the first, Nick Caladros taking the hill for the Green Wave with a 1.71 ERA, 37 strikeouts through 28 2/3 innings. 7 earned runs, 18 walks, but that ERA number is a little bit inflated after 4 runs were given up in just 1 inning of work in a 5-0 loss to the Buna Chiefs in the first round of the Diamond Classic, which did not help his ERA. But the fact that after all that, and after how that start went, the fact that his ERA is still 1.71 is still impressive for the sophomore. Here's John Marcucci. He takes a strike. And it's very quickly going to be 0-2. And the pitch. Swing and a tapper foul. The starting lineup for the Red Raiders this afternoon: John Marcucci, the shortstop, bats leadoff. Dante Honorado is the second baseman, batting second. Hunter Zubek is behind the dish, batting third. Doug King is the third baseman, batting fourth. Luke Hinkle on the hill, batting fifth. That one is outside. Shea McFadden is the center fielder, batting sixth. Rocco Pellegrini is the first baseman, batting seventh. Connor Haynes is the DH, batting eighth. And Matt Hill is the right fielder, batting ninth. Donald Wilson is in left field, not batting. After a hot start for Caladros in this first batter, he's now worked the count even. And the pitch. Lofted out towards shallow right, and it's over the head of Dempsey for a base hit. So Marcucci places the ball exactly where he wanted it, and he gets a free base out of it. So here is Honorado. See, in the modern thinking of baseball, the modern mindset of baseball, amongst a lot of players, is you hit home runs and you'll be okay. And, you know, you hit fly balls, you hit long balls, and you'll be fine. But Marcucci did an excellent job of hitting there, being able to basically put the ball where nobody is. You know, people talk about hitting the ball into the gap, and you don't have to hit the ball into the gap for you to be a successful hitter. All you have to do is find a pocket in between second and right, in between short and left, third and left. Find a place, you know, almost like a Goldilocks zone between the outfield and the infield for you to drop a hit. The exit velocity on that fly ball was not high at all. It looked like a pop-up to me. But Dempsey couldn't corral it in, and he got a base hit out of it. So whichever way you can rack up those singles, it doesn't matter if you hit doubles or triples or homers. Being the leadoff guy means that your job is to get on base and set the stage for the people behind you in the order. Doesn't mean you have to hit a home run first pitch, because a solo home run is 1 run. A grand slam is 4, and 4 runs, if you can do the math, is a lot more valuable than 1. Two-strike count to Honorado, and they're going to throw back to first. Nothing going on there. Marcucci's been straying off the bag a little bit and tempting the Audubon pitcher-catcher battery. Ground ball, that's going to be passed first into right, a base hit. Picking it up is going to be Dempsey, and now breaking from first is Honorado. He's going to be in a rundown, and he's going to be out, but that advances Marcucci all the way to third. So Honorado is out, Marcucci goes to third, and Paulsboro's got a runner 90 feet away from tying this game up at 1 with 1 away. Oh, wait, hold on now.
Discussions?
Yeah, we've got something going on here, because Honorado, I think what happened was that one of Audubon's middle infielders blocked the pathway in the baseline for Honorado, so they are going to call interference. There's some folks out here to my right that made a great call on that play. I did not catch that at first, but...
So no out?
So now, no, there are no outs and runners on second and third for Paulsboro. Breaking ball catches the zone to Zubek. Doug King on deck. He recently surpassed 100 career strikeouts on the mound as a Red Raider. That one's outside. Paulsboro wearing their bright red tops with the P logo in the top right of the jersey. Not a bad jersey in my opinion. I'm more of a fan of the white and red pinstripes, but pinstripes are usually reserved for being worn at home. The Yankees always wore their pinstripes at home, and they actually originally, back in the 1910s, wore all white jerseys. They didn't incorporate the pinstripes until they got their new Yankee Stadium in 1929. They did it to add a little bit of color to the team, and also to mimic what the workers would wear, which were like the blue overalls when they were working. And they wanted to mimic that, so they wore white and blue with pinstripes to model after what the average American worker would wear.
That call was good. The DWB replay booth says that call was a good call.
It was an interference?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the pitch to Zubek. He grounds one out to third. It's going to be caught. And we'll see what they get out of that. I think that they're going to score that a single as well. So I think he chopped that one right in front of third, and McCracken tried to tag the third base bag but couldn't make a tag. So no more room at the inn. Paulsboro's got the bases loaded for Doug King, the lefty. Here's a fly ball out to right. Going back is Bantle to the wall. It is going to just be short of the wall. 1 run scores, 2 run scores. Zubek holds at third. He pumps the brakes, and a 2-run double about 5 feet shy of a grand slam. And Doug King puts the Red Raiders on the board. It's 2-1. That was a rocket out to right, and Doug King. Wow, yeah, that was a little bit of a scare there. That was very close, almost about 5 feet away from being a grand slam, but that one is inside. Caladros, after allowing 4 runs in the first versus Buna, has already allowed 2 and no outs here versus Paulsboro. Both very talented Group 1 schools, but here's a fly ball. Popped up, shallow left. Who's got it? And it dropped right near where the fans are parking their lawn chairs. It's a foul ball to Hinkle, the 5th batter of the inning for Paulsboro with nobody out. Here's the pitch to Hinkle. That one skips away, and Zubek and King both broke away from the bag, but they do retreat. Two-strike count to Hinkle. Shea McFadden, the center fielder, due up for the Red Raiders. He fouls one off towards the trees. You're watching coverage of Audubon Green Wave Baseball here in Paulsboro versus the Red Raiders. If you have any questions or comments about today's broadcast, drop me a line at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. Here's the 2-strike pitch. Hit off the hands, a ground ball to Wiltsey. Throw across the diamond is in time. Nice pick by Lynch. But Hinkle gets the job done, recording an RBI on the ground out, making it 3-1 Paulsboro. Runner on third for the Red Raiders after the ground out by Hinkle. That'll bring up Shea McFadden. A lot of lefties on this ball club for Paulsboro. You usually don't see that in high school baseball too much, especially so concentrated on one team. I know Audubon's only got 2 lefties in a normal rotation, Copsetta and Slavin. Popped up, shallow left, just past the infield, and it's going to go foul.
Does he want to go back where he came from? Jesus Christ!
Well, here's the thing. If I sit here, there's fucking holes in my way. Sorry.
Here's the pitch. Caladros allowing 3 runs in the first. 7 combined first inning runs in his 2 starts that he's had since Saturday. Seems like that they wanted to kind of move past it after that outing versus Buna, but these last 2 starts have just been anything but. Oh wow, what a run by Paulsboro, and he's going to be safe. That was excellent base running by the Red Raiders, and King steals a run. It's 4-1. Wow. Talk about stealing home. Doug King breaks from third on a dropped third strike. McFadden is out, but Paulsboro has jumped out to an early 4-1 lead. No base runners, 2 down. And here is the Paulsboro first baseman and quarterback, Rocco Pellegrini. That one's up and in. 1-0. 7th batter of the inning for the Red Raiders. After this would be the DH Connor Haynes. And the 1-0 is going to be trapped in the dirt. 2-0. Right down Broadway, 2-1.
Come on, Rocco!
That's a ball. By the way, technically that is a RBI for McFadden because on the drop third strike, he was running to first, which set the stage for King to steal home. So that counts as an RBI for McFadden. Here's a ground ball to Wiltsey. Picks it up, throw to first, and that's an airmail. Another one by Tyler Wiltsey. His defense continues to be a sore spot on this team as an E6, another one, puts Pellegrini on second. Audubon is withering away to nothing here in the first inning. And that ball went so far out of play. Look at where Hunter Lowe has to go grab that baseball. That's how far out he is. Wow. Wade Geis talking to Caladros.
We definitely had some difficulties throwing to first.
Yeah.
Here.
And that's a fundamental part of the game.
Yeah.
Throwing to first base should be one of the easiest parts of a defensive play because that's the base you throw to the most. The only time you're throwing to second base or third base is for a double play or the ever so rare triple play. And you only throw to home for a fielder's choice with the bases loaded. So, or from the outfield. But when you're an infielder, your concern is throwing the ball to first base because in 99% of circumstances, that is the easiest out possible, is the one that was batted and the one that goes to first base. So the fact that the Green Wave are getting very lackadaisical with those kind of plays. Here's a fly ball to right. Bannell dives and makes the catch to retire the side. So a bright spot here after a 4-run first inning for the Red Raiders. We go to the second. Audubon trails by 3. Top of the second inning, Joey Slavin bats here for the Green Wave, and he takes one inside 1-0 versus Hinkle.
Do you have any cards with you? I think I have one from last night.
Here's the 1-0 to Slavin. And he takes another one inside 2-0. 9 men, or rather 8, came to the plate for Paulsboro in the first inning. 4 of them came around to score, with the Red Raiders stranding a runner on second, and Slavin doing his best lean back impression, or what's that one party dance from like 15 years ago, the wobble?
Yeah.
That's what he looked like he was doing. He was doing the wobble. Here's the pitch.
Wobble.
Fouled back, got a piece of it. 7, 8, and 9 due up for Audubon. Slavin, Caladros, the pitcher, and Copsetta. Audubon scored a run on an RBI triple by Charlie Grady, but didn't get anything more out of it. Slavin ahead in the count, 3-1. Here's the pitch, and that will be a free pass. So Joey Slavin takes a free jog down to first, and this will bring up Nick Caladros, number 8 hitter for the Green Wave this afternoon. Hinkle kicks and deals, and Caladros wavers that one foul. It's 0-1. That one skips away. Zubek can't get there in time, and Slavin gets down to second base. So Joey moves up 90 feet, and Audubon once again with a runner in scoring position. Hinkle deals. There's a ball. Fouled over towards first. Hinkle tasked with a runner on second base and nobody out. Here's the pitch to Caladros. Going to be hit out towards left field, but foul.
Right there, Luke.
Charlie Copsetta, the center fielder on deck for the Green Wave. As we've got another train signal coming around. I mean, it really is interesting how this field is encapsulated by the industrial kind of places around here. You can see all of the train yards down there with the tankers. Over there you've got what appears to be like some sort of power plant. Here's the pitch to Caladros, and that's going to be a swing and a miss. Nope, never mind, got a piece of it. It is hard to tell from 300 plus feet away, but you make the best of what you can do. There's another shot of the train passing by. I used to be fascinated with trains when I was a little kid. I think you remember that a little bit.
Yep.
Swing and a miss. Caladros retired on the swinging strikeout, and there's one away. This will bring up Charlie Copsetta, the center fielder. First pitch to the center fielder, Copsetta, is a swing and a miss. The 1. Up and in, 1-1.
I'm sorry. I didn't like it.
Slavin on second, and a swing and a miss, 1-2. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Paroli's Printing and Bantle's Banners, Signs, and Apparel, the true one-stop shop for all your print and promotional needs with a 5-star Google rating. Over 50 years in business, handling any ink-on-paper project as well as banners, signs, apparel, and promotional swag. Copsetta takes it on the outside corner, and he is retired. 2 down. Third strikeout for the lefty Hinkle, and this brings up Tyler Wiltsey. There's a strike, 0-1. I've always wondered why teams around here are called the Raiders or the Red Raiders when there wasn't a lot of pirates and pillaging back in South Jersey.
No, but the Oakland Raiders football team was hugely popular
Yes.
around the time that a lot of these teams were formed.
Well, I mean, the Oakland Raiders probably came to fruition around the 50s, 60s.
But I'm saying they were hugely popular, like in the 70s and 80s.
Yes.
They have followings like Dodger fans are all over.
Right. Well, I was more asking why team names are called the way they are. Like, you know, why teams are called the Panthers, you know, or something like that.
And I'm saying the popularity of the football team could have
Right.
encouraged them.
I don't know. I mean, for the Green Wave, there actually is a backstory behind why Audubon is called the Green Wave. There was a newspaper publication in the local Times back in 1930 about the football team. And they didn't have a name. They were just the Audubon football team. And the newspaper journalist, the reporter that had talked about the Green Wave, it was a blowout game over Haddon Heights. And they had described the team, because they were wearing green jerseys, as a green wave of players. And there's actually a plaque about it hanging in the trophy case of Audubon High School. And it dates all the way back to 1930, just less than 5 years after Audubon High School opened in 1926. Ryan Zimmer. 2 away, runner on second. Audubon trails by 3 to the Red Raiders of Paulsboro. Here's the pitch. Wiltsey pops one sky high out towards Hill, and he comes down with it to make the catch. Audubon leaves the runner on second. Going to the bottom of the second, they trail 4-1 to Paulsboro. Here in the bottom of the second here from Paulsboro. Green Wave got it started with a bang, but Paulsboro got it started with an even louder bang as they lead by 3 versus Matt Hill. There's a strike. 8 men came to the plate for Paulsboro in the first. 4 of them scored. That one is outside on a sinker ball. Hill gets a piece of it and knocks it foul down the third base line. Hill won a little bit, rethink the strategy. Hill out to left, Grady going over. And that is not gonna get there. Hill, the freshman, going to second base. Grady picks it up, and it's a stand-up double for Matt Hill. Paulsboro continues to be on a tear here in the early innings as Caladros continues to find more and more ways to give up base runners here early. Now back to the top of the order with John Marcucci Jr., the shortstop.
She don't want you there?
Here's the first pitch to Marcucci. That one is outside, and Zimmer pump fakes a throw to second.
Right. You're not so sure with her?
That's the 5th hit that Paulsboro has had today, and we're just getting started in the second inning. Marcucci showed bunt, but Caladro steps off. The infield was moving rather vigorously quickly in. Here's the pitch. That one is a ball, and back to the backstop. Hill is in at third.
Go, Johnny!
So Hill advances, and Paulsboro is 90 feet away from putting up run number 5 here in the ballgame. Time is called. That one's a ball. I think people are forgetting that Paulsboro made it to the South Jersey Group 1 final last year. They played Pittman, and they played Woodstown, excuse me. That's going to be a free run. I can't say I've seen that one before, but the ball bounced so high in the air, it went out of play. So it's going to be a wild pitch that automatically scores Hill, and it puts Marcucci on first, bringing up Honorado.
Let's go, Dante.
5-1, Paulsboro. Strike one. Honorado stepped out of the box before the pitch reached the plate. It seemed like in April, Audubon was expert at getting into comeback situations and pulling through. Like that 6-0 comeback victory versus Kingsway, scored 7 unanswered runs, and that's going to be a free stolen base for Marcucci. Paulsboro is walking all over Audubon right now, and it's not looking great.
We've talked a lot this season about basic baseball.
Right.
And Paulsboro is putting on a teaching lesson here of basic baseball.
Yes.
Get a runner on, move him up.
Yeah, move them up in any way possible. You don't need home runs or doubles or triples to move them over. Now, they did have a couple doubles and triples in this one, but still, the point stands is that they can advance the baseball almost like a game of 4D chess, if you will. You know, they're able to move it in different ways and in different, in different fashions that just really change the whole scope of the ball game. And Paulsboro and Woodstown and all those teams, they are reinventing how we think of high school baseball in South Jersey. Here's a ground ball foul, picked up by Paulsboro's first base coach. And it'll be a 2-strike count to Honorado. Honorado lofts one foul. Still a 2-strike count.
Just a big.
That is a walk. Honorado really putting on a show here, and the entire Paulsboro team is following suit. Another walk, putting runners on first and second for the Red Raiders. Here's the catcher, Hunter Zubek. As Caladros, you've got to imagine they're already warming up Josh Nolan actually down the first base line, so a little bit of relief may be on the way, but in this case you might need more relief than the American Red Cross. Here's a bunt down the third base line. Is that going to be a fair ball? It is. Unless they didn't call it. No. They called it a foul ball. You can't tell from the angle that we're at, so. So foul ball to Zubek, and it's 0-1.
Someday when you have your own broadcast booth and hundreds of cameras, we'll be better off.
Here's the pitch to Zubek. There's a ball. Yeah, this certainly is not going to help Caladros' ERA. After having an ERA going into Saturday of .71, it got increased by a full run into 1.71, and now it might even go higher than 3 at the end of the day. But Audubon cannot afford to give up many more runs because there's a limit to how much of a comeback it's formidable for teams to make. There's just only so much firepower you can have when you're down by X number of runs. You need to get in that mindset, and Caladros is a big mindset guy. We talked to him after the West Deptford game. He said, maybe it may seem arrogant to some, but to him, once he's in control, he's in control, and right now he's not in control. Here's the pitch to Zubek. Runners on first and second for Paulsboro. That will be another ball. Tight zone at home today, although that one was admittedly low.
Yeah.
Just in general, it's one of those variables about the game that it's just the way it is. Zubek, left field. Grady, foul. A lot of disgruntled groans from the Paulsboro faithful as they really wanted that ball to be fair. Would have helped them, would have given them a couple more on the board with 2 runners on, and one of them, Marcucci Jr., being in scoring position. Zubek followed by Doug King on the on-deck circle for the Red Raiders. Audubon already trailing by 4 here in the bottom of, and Caladros steps off. Still no outs. All 3 Paulsboro batters have reached base so far. A leadoff double by Matt Hill, a walk, and another walk. Here's a looper to right. That's a fair ball, and it's going to load the bases. A single for Zubek, the 6th hit for Paulsboro today, and Audubon is getting walloped early. That's going to load the bases.
No, they'll do it after the game.
That was his 100th. That was his 100th hit.
Oh.
That's why we were being loud.
Yeah, sorry. We're done now.
It's his 100th hit.
We're done now.
So we were just told that is Hunter Zubek's 100th career hit as a Red Raider. So
Wow, that's awesome.
they're going to give the baseball to the dugout. Everybody on their feet. Congratulations. Congratulations to Zubek. Audubon has a couple of guys on the cusp of their 100th hit, but I don't think anybody will get it this year. Here's a ground ball out to Dempsey. Picked up, had a little bit of trouble with it, but made the play. There's one out, but Paulsboro plates a run. It is 6-1. One out. And Paulsboro plates their second run of the second. Swing and a miss to Hinkle, and it's 0-1. That is in the dirt. There was a long time where Audubon had several years, maybe 5 or 6 years, since Brian Flacco got his 100th hit as a member of the Green Wave. The first time they tracked it was 1991, and one of the first people was Mike Harris. The other was Brett Laxton, who went on to help LSU win the College Baseball World Series in 1993 and had a brief career in the big leagues with the Oakland A's and the Royals. That one's in the dirt. One of 2 Audubon alums to make the big leagues. A couple have been drafted. Vaughn Schill was a mid-round draft pick by the Seattle Mariners in 1994. Joe Flacco played baseball as well, but I think you know what sport he ended up going on to play.
Yeah, he's a little famous for it.
Yeah, Super Bowl champion. I think he's one of the. I've talked to people literally all the way over in San Francisco, and all over the country, and I've said, yeah, I go to the same high school that Joe Flacco went to, and like, if you know football, you know who that is.
Yeah.
It's not like I went to Tom Brady's high school or Aaron Rodgers' high school, but he's still a great quarterback. A walk to Hinkle brings up McFadden with the bases loaded. Still 6-1. Paulsboro over Audubon. I mean, there seems to be a lack of urgency from Audubon. It seems like that they're just kind of standing there, not really doing much. And you need to have a better mindset down by 5 runs. How do you think Audubon beat Kingsway? They had the right mindset, and they put the right pieces in the right places at the right time. Baseball is a game with a heck of a lot of moving parts. One out. And here is McFadden, the 7th man to bat for the Red Raiders here in the 2nd inning. They're already 2/3 of the way through the 2nd rotation of the order for Paulsboro. They've really just been putting it on and on and on. And this is a far cry from what Audubon did versus Paulsboro on opening day, which was a 10-0 5-inning mercy rule. So I was going into this game thinking it would be way different. No offense, but I thought it was going to be way different. But it has been the complete opposite. Here's the pitch from Caladros. That one is a strike. And a strikeout looking to McFadden. He has struck out twice in as many at-bats, in as many innings. And this brings up Rocco Pellegrini. 2 outs, bases loaded for Paulsboro. Pellegrini reached second on an E6 by Wiltsey, first time. 7th man in the order, 8th man to hit in the inning for the Red Raiders. No throw over.
He's just gotta watch it, he's gotta make sure they don't turn against him.
Come on, Nick, let's go big out here.
Downstairs.
Come on, Rock! Right there.
There's a strike. Pellegrini holding back here.
Right there, Rocco. You want to see the video? Yeah.
After this would be Connor Haynes, who ended the first inning. Here's the pitch. Fouled off towards the chain link screen. Caladros trying to manage the best he can here. Josh Nolan warming up in the grass and right. That's going to be outside. Should be 2-2. And the pitch. Short fly ball to right, and Dempsey reels it in to retire the side. Paulsboro plates another 2, but they leave the bases loaded. It's 6-1 going to the third here in Paulsboro. Top of the third here from Paulsboro. This broadcast is brought to you in part by DJK Roofing, South Jersey's #1 roofing supplier with over 200 5-star reviews on the web. Get a free quote today by calling Carmine Rampolla at 856-778-3900. Again, that's 856-778-3900. Ryan Zimmer is the first to check in for the Green Wave here in the third in a 6-1 Paulsboro lead, as they have poured it on early. Here's a ground ball over the head of Hinkle, going out to short. Marcucci with a throw, and it's going to be in time by a step. Zimmer with a quick turnaround. He'll head back to the dugout, and an efficient 6-3 play gets the first out. Audubon had one base runner via a leadoff walk to Joey Slavin, but nothing further in the second. That one is downstairs.
I think she was, 100%.
There's a strike. Upstairs. Lynch, fly ball, headed towards the right field side, and it's out of play, out towards Hill.
My mom also hated, she hated that.
Swing and a miss. Lynch to first. And there's 2 down. Here is Charlie Grady.
You're gonna hear knocks on your door.
Fourth strikeout for Hinkle, as he recorded his 40th strikeout of the of the year. Those were all the wrong units of measurement. I had 40th strikeout of the outing. I had 40th strikeout of the inning. I'm like, wait a second, that doesn't work. It's 0-1 to Charlie Grady. After this will be Trent Bannell, the right fielder. Grady popped up, first base side, and it's going to drop in front of Hill. Get back to first, Charlie. He's going to get in there. Luckily, nobody was covering the bag. But
No, someone at the last second said, yeah, he's saying my bad.
3 men went for the same real estate, and it ended up being a foreclosure, as there will be a single to Grady. So out there, I mean, Hill and Honorado and Pellegrini all went for the same spot, but I didn't hear anybody call for it, and just seems like that was a mistake Audubon would have made earlier in this season. But a free base is a free base no matter how you take it, and that's going to be fouled back off the bat of Bannell. Technically, that has to be scored as a single because it didn't hit off of the glove or the person of anyone in the outfield. It just hit the ground. So technically, that's a single. Logic would tell you that's an error, but against who is why it's so ambiguous. Fly ball to center. McFadden is there, and the inning is over. Audubon gets a runner aboard, but nothing further in rather dubious circumstances. We go to the bottom of the third, 6-1 Paulsboro. Here in the bottom of the third inning, Ryan Zimmer is in for relief, as now Bryce Dempsey is in right field. Trent Bannell will suit up behind the plate, and the catcher goes to the other side of the battery to eat some innings here in the middle. They were warming up Josh Nolan, but you can't really warm up a catcher to pitch when he's catching. So they did the best he could to get those warm-up pitches in while he was not batting, but he also led off the third inning, so you're kind of out of luck there. But first batter for Paulsboro will be Connor Haynes, as 8 men came to the plate in the first for Paulsboro, and 8 men came to the plate in the second for the Red Raiders, and time is called. I don't know what's going on here. The umpire just went to talk to the Paulsboro dugout. I don't know what was going on there. One 0. That one's outside. Zimmer with a 3 flat ERA and just a handful of appearances, as he never really started his first foray into pitching until this year. Has had 7 total innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 5 walks, 12 strikeouts. That one trails up and in. 2 innings apiece versus Haddon Heights and Collingswood, and appeared in 3 innings on Thursday versus Gateway in a 22-4 win. That is a walk to Haynes. Brings up Matt Hill, the freshman who had a double and later came around to score in the second inning. He was the only man to not grab a bat in the first. See, it feels great to be on the giving end of a 6-1 game at this point, but here comes a throwdown. That's going to be late.
What do you say?
Stolen base.
Let's go.
From Connor Haynes, and he gets in there. It feels great to be on the giving end of a game like this, but it feels just gut-wrenching to be on the receiving end. It's really, really not a good feeling. That's a hit-by pitch. My goodness.
Some days you're the windshield, some days you're the bug.
Yeah. And, no outs and a runner on first and second following the hit-by pitch to Hill.
But it was like water. It literally looked like water because I drank so much water. I'm like, well, hopefully this is going to be good enough because they're like, we'll see what happens.
Here is Marcucci Jr. He's up for his 3rd at-bat in as many innings. He singled in the first to lead off the ball game, and he walked in the second. I mean, wow, just there's a bunt that's going to go out of play.
I guess the one guy's
Inside, 1-1. The leadoff man for Paulsboro, followed by Dante Honorado, the second baseman. He lines one. It's caught by Wiltsey. He's going to have 1. He's going to have 2. And he got it at first. It's a triple play. A 6-3 triple play. Wow.
That's unbelievable.
That is unbelievable. After Paulsboro got 2 runners on to start the inning, it wasn't even around the horn. It was a line drive caught by Wiltsey. I hope I got that on camera, but oh my goodness, wow. Tyler Wiltsey caught the ball, tagged at second base, and got the throw over to first in time for a triple play. Inning over. Maybe that will change the tides a little bit. We go to the 4th, 6-1 Paulsboro. Here for DWB Trivia Time in the top of the fourth inning. Paulsboro leads 6-1. Today's question is, what color is primarily used most in MLB logos? The thing's not coming up on my end, so...
Oh, the options are red,
Red,
green,
green,
blue,
blue.
and orange.
All right, so red, green, blue, or orange will reveal the answer in the bottom of the fourth inning. Let's go back to the main board as leading off the top of the fourth is going to be Jack Dempsey for the Green Wave. Fly ball down the right field line, and that is going to be a fair ball.
Eat these with your insects.
So a single by Dempsey leads off the fourth, and this brings up Joey Slavin, who walked in his first at bat. Slavin at the dish here, with nobody out and a runner on first. He takes up and in. There's a strike, 1-1. Slavin batting .310 in his junior year, his first as a varsity ball player. 13 for 42, 4 extra base hits, 12 walks, and a hit by pitch. Although that last at bat gave him his 13th walk of the year. There's a ball. Got a piece of it. 2-2. Busy week for DWB coming up. We've got a DWB showcase between two tri-county teams. Or actually, no, Maple Shade is in the BCSL, excuse me. But the Maple Shade Wildcats come to Pittman to play the Panthers at Alcyon Park, 4 p.m. tomorrow. And then Thursday is a home game for the Green Wave, Audubon and Haddonfield at 4 o'clock. And Slavin goes down looking, 1 away. Friday could be Camden Catholic and Cherry Hill West, but that's going to be the 100th strikeout for Luke Hinkle. So milestones aplenty here this afternoon, as I was wondering why they were all hugging in the on the pitcher's mound, but a 100th hit and a 100th strikeout this afternoon. They're going to save that baseball. And Paulsboro already having a good day in terms of putting runs on the board, but they've also had a good day in terms of having 2 milestones in one game. They had one earlier this year with Doug King recording his 100th strikeout as well, and there may be a couple that I'm missing, but this team is really looking almost better than last year, even though the records may not show it. As a structurally sound team, they were able to rebound from a 10-0 loss on opening day to go into the 5-game winning streak that they have now. When you see that, you know, when teams catch fire, they stay hot for a long time, and these kind of things happen to teams like Paulsboro. You know, have a couple blowout wins against teams like Salem and Gateway, and then you really hone your craft versus the good teams like Collingswood, Gloucester, and Audubon. This is their their 5th straight Colonial Conference game. Out of their 5 wins in a row that they've had so far, the only one that was out of conference was an 8-4 win versus Oakcrest, which is a member of the Shore League. Caladros, a country mile high. Back out towards Honorado. He makes the catch, 2 down. So 2 outs, and this brings up Charlie Compsetta. Compsetta struck out looking his first time. Up and in. Zubek breaks from the crouch but does not throw. There's a strike. 1-1.
Yeah, right. You're not gonna know.
Outside, 2-1.
Obviously you do.
They're fine. I eat the original one so much. All you.
3-1. See, what do you want to do here with 2 outs and a runner on? You want Copsetta to get on, but if Wiltsey gets out, then, you know, you want to lead off the inning with Wiltsey. But a 2-out rally, it puts you in a hard spot. That's going to be a walk. So Copsetta with a free pass. And this will bring up Tyler Wiltsey. Here's Tyler Wiltsey now. 0 for 2, a ground out and a fly out in this one in 2 innings so far. Downstairs and in the dirt, 1-0. Inside. Here's the pitch. Downstairs.
Come on, Luke, you got it.
Hinkle looking to rebound here with 2 outs. There's a strike. Line drive into left foul. And a 2-strike count to Wiltsey. Wiltsey pops it up again, out towards third. And making the catch is King to retire the side. Green Wave put up 2 runs, but nothing, 2 runners, but nothing more. Still 6-1 going to the bottom of the 4th. Bottom of the 4th inning, it's time for DWB trivia time. Today's question is, what is the color used most primarily in MLB logos? Is it red, green, blue, or orange? Producer, what's your pick?
Red.
You would be incorrect. Let's reveal the answer. It is blue. C
Wow.
is the correct answer. Blue is the most common color used in MLB logos, with a good chunk of the teams using them, as there's a first pitch. Strike call.
I was going to pick red or blue. I 50-50
One
shot.
of the primary colors.
I had a 50-50 shot.
1-1 to Honorado versus Zimmer here. There's a strike, 2-2. Grounder to first. Lynch picks it up and takes it to the bag himself, a 3 unassisted to start the bottom of the 4th. So 16 out of 30 teams have blue in their logo, which is the most, considering that red has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Only one green team, the A's. A couple of orange teams, the Orioles, Astros, Giants, and the Mets. They're the 4 orange teams. Blue is the correct answer. 16 out of 30 teams have blue in their logo. Red only has 11. Orange has 4, and green only has 1 with the A's. Ground ball, foul to Zubek. That is one of my more interesting questions because it makes you think, you know?
Well, I really did feel like I had a good handle on red and blue at the top.
Yeah, I mean, we're also watching a team in red. We're wearing both red because we're wearing Philly stuff. Although it's ironic that we color coordinated. That's going to be a walk. A walk to Zubek.
It was not intentional.
It used to be 17 out of 30 teams had blue in their logos when the San Diego Padres were blue and white, and then they switched to a brown and yellow color scheme to an homage from their days in the 70s and 80s. It's like a 30-year campaign of Padres fans wanting to bring back the brown and yellow as Zubek advances to second. And that's going to be a hit by pitch. Wow. It took a little bit of pleading, but he made it work, and that'll put runners at first and second. By the way, for a little bit of statistical tomfoolery here this afternoon, as the first pitch to McFadden is inside.
We're all about the tomfoolery, Dan.
Well, excuse me, to King is inside. No, not King. Luke Hinkle. So that one gets to the backstop. See, everything's happening so quickly, I can't even get to what I was saying. Since 2008, Audubon is 22-0 versus Paulsboro. They had beaten them 22 times in a row in the last 15 years. And Paulsboro has a chance to change that today. That's a walk to McFadden. Excuse me, to Hinkle. Now McFadden's coming up. Oh my goodness. Bases loaded. Nobody out. No, one out. Oh my goodness. Here comes Wade Geis. I mean, this broadcast has turned into what the game is right now. It's just not quality work here, but Geis breaks from his meeting with Zimmer as with the bases loaded and one out. Green Wave looking to salvage a little bit of dignity from this game as there is a ball Here's McFadden with the 1-0. McFadden bunts but couldn't connect. It's going to be 0-2. McFadden out on strikes. McFadden is 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. He's the only man in Paulsboro's rotation that has not reached base tonight. And here is Pellegrini. He reached on E6. We're going to have a pinch runner at first as Hinkle will get ready to pitch. It'll be Smith over at first. Pinch running for Paulsboro. There's Pellegrini. Technically 0 for 2. That's a ball. Up and in. And a bases loaded walk makes it 7-1. This is when the ball game gets ugly, when bases loaded walks start to happen, and
It's only ugly when it's not for your team.
yes. No matter what happens, though,
Yeah.
no matter what side you're on, it's when the ball game gets ugly when bases loaded walks start happening, because the pitcher doesn't have control, the defense doesn't have control, nobody's got self-discipline, nobody's got motivation to try to surmount a comeback, and it's a demeaning part of the game with a foul ball, and it's quickly 0-2 to Haynes. Paulsboro has plated a run in almost every inning except for the third, when they had that miraculous triple play fall against them. Here's the pitch. Strike 3 on a curveball right down Broadway. Clips the zone, but Audubon lets up another run. We go to the top of the 5th, 7-1 Paulsboro. Ryan Zimmer leads off the top of the fifth. Luke Hinkle still working strong, and Zimmer fouls it back to start the fifth. 0-1. Paulsboro leads by 6 runs, 7-1. It'll be the first time in over 15 years that Audubon falls to Paulsboro if they hold on for these next 9 outs. Downstairs, and it is 1-1 to Zimmer. 2, 3, and 4 due up for Audubon as Zimmer, Lynch, and Grady are slated to bat here in the fifth. Audubon's just got 1 run. They started the game off hot with a run in the first thanks to an RBI triple by Charlie Grady, and then Luke Hinkle settled in and hasn't even allowed anything more than 1 hit and 2 walks since. Excuse me, 2 hits and 2 walks since the first, but still a good performance by Luke Hinkle so far, including his 100th career strikeout back in the fourth. Just a bit inside, a tough call, but counts the same. Here's the pitch. Zimmer pops it up, and it's caught by Honorado. 1 down.
Dante, I'm so used to Johnny being in second.
Here is Lynch. He is 0 for 1. He walked and struck out so far. Here's the first pitch to Lynch. Takes a strike. Huge swing and a miss, and 0-2.
Like, it's one thing, I'm always right. Whatever. You believe it, wouldn't believe it, that's right.
Ground ball foul.
There's that, and then there's the extreme. She's the extreme. Oh, yeah.
There's a ball. Scott Lynch smokes one, the third, picked up by King. And the throw to first is in time. And that's going to be the second out. Here is Grady. There's the ball. 1-0 to Grady. There's a strike right down Broadway. 1-1. Grady lines it in the center field, and it takes a hop off of second base and goes into center field. Charlie Grady with a 2-out single off of Hinkle, and that brings up Trent Bennell. Just the 3rd hit that the Green Wave have recorded since the first inning. And Grady is 3 for 3. He's been hitting Hinkle really well with a triple and 2 singles. So if there's any spotlight on this game, it would be for Charlie Grady, really showing off here in his senior year. He's committed to Camden County College to play baseball. There's a strike to Bennell. See, once you get to the bottom of the order, it just gets thinner and thinner and thinner. You've got, oh, here we go, fly ball center field, going back McFadden. He will make the catch, and the inning is over. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Paulsboro leads by 6 over Audubon, 7-1. Here we go, bottom of the 5th inning as Paulsboro leads by 6. Audubon with another pitcher in the ball game. Charlie Grady is now on the mound. Bryce Dempsey still in right, and Jason Stockland still in left, as I guess because Bantle moved to the catching spot. I don't know why they didn't. I guess they DH'd him or something, but Charlie Grady, who had a 1-hit shutout versus Holy Cross Prep on Wednesday 3rd, and had another excellent game later on in the week as well, but really driving it home here in another appearance for the senior righty. Sometimes he's been starting, sometimes he's been working in relief, but no matter what, has really been making an impact on the ball club. But just what he's got to do is make that impact whenever possible, you know, make that ability to get the outs when you need to. But that's where we stand. The scoreboard tells 1,000 words as Green Wave trail Paulsboro by 6 runs. Here's a fly ball, deep right field, and it's over the head of Dempsey. That's going to be extra bases for Hill. He's going to get to second base, and the throw is going to be short. And a second double for Matt Hill to lead off the 5th versus Charlie Grady. And Paulsboro has been putting on a shellacking here this afternoon as John Marcucci, for his 4th at-bat of the game, is going to come up now. Going to be a pinch runner at second base. Smith going out there.
Billy, he's like out on the field. He's like doing whatever that floss is and whatever. Like we're cracking up.
Here's the first pitch to Marcucci with a runner on second and nobody out. Never mind. Time is called. Popped up. Shallow center. Copsetta took a bad step, and it's going to drop in front of the outfielders. I understand the sun is out, but my goodness. Paulsboro did the same thing in one of the earlier innings, and it helped Audubon, but now that's a bit of a vengeance call right there. But runners are on first and second after the bad play in center field. Here's Honorado. His fourth at-bat of the afternoon. He reached base 2 out of 3 times with a single and a walk. He shows bunt, but nothing further. It's 0-1. Showing bunt again, a pop-up foul. Upstairs.
I thought maybe there was something I was like, oh, that's
Zimmer and Grady talking it out. And how long has this broadcast been going on?
2 hours.
2 hours on the dot?
2:02.
2:02, wow. It's been a long game. You have some of those in baseball. We had a game that was a full 7 innings versus Overbrook and Woodstown. It was a DWB showcase, and it was kind of funny because it was 3 hours and 8 minutes long for a full 7-inning game. Meanwhile, Audubon and Haddon Township had a full 9-inning game that went about 25 minutes shorter. But it all depends on the pitcher's rhythm. And a thing that was pretty common in that Overbrook-Woodstown game was that the pitcher for Overbrook and Woodstown, they'd always throw over to first if there was a runner on. They'd do it several times. Everybody would use as many step outs and time calls and everything like that. They would do as many of those as they could physically can without irking the umpire. So that's partially why the game just dragged on and on and on, and they had that lengthy review process for the infamous 2 at-bats, 2 home runs, a walk, and a strikeout in the same at-bat. I will never forget that saga. But here's the pitch. That's upstairs. Runners on first and second. There is action in the Paulsboro bullpen. We'll figure out what's going on there in a second. And a swing and a foul tip, miss. It's a swing and a miss, excuse me. I think he got a piece of it, but it was a foul tip. So Honorado down on strikes, and this brings up Zubek. First strikeout for Charlie Grady, and Matt Hill is warming up in the bullpen for the Red Raiders down the third base line. Whoa. Oh. Yikes. It's 0-1. Ground ball. Fair ball off of Caladros. Took a bad hop, but Wiltsey rebounds. And the bases are loaded. No more room at the end for Paulsboro. Again. Oh my goodness. Here is Doug King. He was mere feet away from a grand slam in the first inning.
Nobody was on second.
And
Come on, Doug!
man,
Let's go, Dougie!
he was just a couple feet away from that. Instead, at a 2-run double and that 4-run first for Paulsboro. So he's hit a couple rockets this afternoon. Question is, can he add on? Popped up, first base side. Dempsey slides and makes the catch. Runner tagging from third. Throw to the plate is going to be off on a hop. They're going to throw it to third. Nothing going on there, and it's a sacrifice fly for Doug King as the Paulsboro dugout continues to rattle them there. Make that 8-1? 8-1, yeah. With 1 down after the sacrifice, 2 down after the sacrifice fly. A nice slide, though, by Dempsey to get on that grass and get it going.
Come on, Luke!
Runners on first and third for Luke Hinkle. Outside, 2-0. There's a strike, 2-1. After this, if the inning continues, it would be Shea McFadden, who has struck out all 3 times in this one. Popped up. Out to left, but foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Hinkle, who has had 2 walks and a ground out in this one. Still trying to keep it hot. Here we go, the pitch. Inside corner and a called strike 3. Grady gets out of the jam, but allows a run via a sacrifice fly. We go to the top of the 6th, 8-1. Paulsboro leads by a plenty. Top of the sixth here from Paulsboro. This broadcast is brought to you by Doug Does Anything, your local handyman. If you need anything done, no matter how big or small, give Doug Does Anything a call at 856-412-0118. Again, that's 856-412-0118. Jack Dempsey leading off the sixth as Paulsboro leads by 7 runs, 8-1. Audubon has had no more than 6 men come up to the plate in any given inning, and since the first, they had 6 in the first, 4 in the second, 4 in the third, 5 in the fourth, and 4 in the fifth. So really not a great offensive day for Audubon, but it really could have been a lot closer of a game if the defense and the pitching just didn't have it. Paulsboro kept knocking off hits and Hinkle kept being dominant, and we saw versus Haddon Township just a week or so ago that Audubon can still win games if their hitting doesn't have it, but that's dependent on if the pitching can, level the playing field. And right now they have not leveled the playing field in any way. That one's high and away. 6, 7, and 8 due up for the Green Wave. Dempsey, Slavin, and Nick Caladros. Slavin warming up over there in the on-deck circle. Here's the pitch from Hinkle. Ball 4. So Caladros starts the sixth with a walk. Excuse me, Dempsey. Sorry, Dempsey. That's upstairs. There's a strike. Fouled back. Runner on first, nobody out. Dempsey after the walk. And Slavin facing Luke Hinkle, who's been dominant all day. Whoa, that one's a strike. Seems like the strike calls have been all over the place on both sides, but there's a strikeout looking to Slavin. There's one down. That's the second time Slavin has been retired on a strikeout looking, and you just gotta, after that point, you just gotta swing. I don't know what else you can do. First pitch of the ball to Caladros. A half dozen strikeouts in total for Hinkle this afternoon, as that one is inside. And 4 measly hits. And there's a strike. Should be 1 and 2.
Keep him there, Luke. Let's go, Luke.
Excuse me, now it's a 2-strike count. Should be 2 and 2 to Caladros. Little looper out towards right, and that's going to drop for a hit. So moving to second will be Dempsey. Caladros gets to first, and this will bring up Copsetta at the 9 spot. See, if you're Audubon and you want to make a 7-run comeback, what you need to do is get those runners aboard. And Luke Hinkle has thrown his last pitch of the ball game here this afternoon. 6 strikeouts, 5 hits allowed, just 1 run in the first inning, and an excellent performance by the senior southpaw as he continues his journey in his final high school regular season. Matt Hill is going to come in to pitch here in a Parole's printing pitching change. Paulsboro leads 8-1. We'll go to break, and we'll be right back after this. Here we go. Matt Hill, the new pitcher for the Paulsboro Red Raiders in an 8-1 game. It's a Parole's printing pitching change. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Parole's Printing and Bantel's Banners, Signs, and Apparel. The true one-stop shop for all your print and promotional needs with a 5-star Google rating. If you need graduation lawn signs and banners, flyers, A-frames, business cards, or envelopes done right, this is the place for you. Hill making his second appearance as a freshman pitcher. He appeared in the 10-0 loss to Shalik for the Red Raiders, allowing 8 runs in an inning and a third, putting his official ERA at 42, which is not optimal, but he'll look to lower that. Versus Charlie Copsetta, the final line for the senior Luke Hinkle, who now moves to right field, is going to be 5 hits, 1 run allowed, and 6 strikeouts over 5 1/3 innings. Inside, going to third is Dempsey, and going to second is Caladros. He gets in there standing up, and Audubon's got 2 runners in scoring position. Swing and a miss. Going to be a 2-strike count to Copsetta. Copsetta launches one to right. Hinkle going back. And he's going to make the catch. Tagging from third and coming in to score is Dempsey. And Audubon salvages a run. It's 8-2. So moving up to third is Caladros as Dempsey scores on the sac fly, and here's Tyler Wiltsey with 2 down. And that will technically bring Hill's ERA down because that didn't count as an earned run against Hill. It technically is charged against Hinkle because Hill inherited those base runners and is not responsible for them. 1-0 to Tyler Wiltsey with a runner on. 2 outs. There's a strike. Wiltsey's got the only team homer this year on a fly ball to left versus Cinnaminson in the Ralph Shaw tournament. Here's the pitch. Inside. 2-1. Outside. Couldn't catch the zone, and Wiltsey will be followed by Zimmer if the inning continues here with 2 down. Wiltsey, foul ball. Now the count is full. Hill trying to retire the side. And that will be a walk. If you couldn't get Wiltsey out, the best thing you could do is walk him, because when he's on an offer, he usually has a lot to respond with. But Wiltsey reaches base for the first time today, and he snaps the 0 for 3 with getting on base here for the first time in the 6th. Bringing up Zimmer, who's 0 for 2. Yeah, Charlie Grady's 3 for 3, and he's responsible for 3 of the 5 hits. That's 60% of Audubon's hits today. The first 2 guys, the first 3 in the order, have only reached base twice, and they've both been by walks. Paulsboro has done an excellent job of evenly distributing their wealth upon the order, where the top half of the order can't do nothing because the bottom half of the order doesn't do anything to set them up for it. So 1 to Zimmer. And getting to second base freely on defensive indifference will be Tyler Wiltsey. And on the scorecards, that's not supposed to be scored as a stolen base because there was no throw and there was no contest for the base. That one's upstairs. Runners on second and third. Green Wave looking to shoot a ball into the hole and get a couple more runs. That one is inside. There's a strike. Looked like just on the corner there. The count should be full. No, that's not even Zimmer hitting. That's Jason Stocklin hitting. Oh my gosh, how did I not notice that? Why is he up there?
That's it, Matt!
That's a swing and a miss.
Way to go!
And Audubon allows themselves to get a sacrifice fly, but they leave 2 runners on. This has been an abysmal game. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 8-2, Paulsboro. Bottom of the 6th inning, Shea McFadden leading it off for the Red Raiders, and the 0-1 count with Charlie Grady on the mound, and Paulsboro trying to get a couple more insurance runs with a 6-run lead as we're in the final full inning of regular play. As wow, just what a game this has been. McFadden with a pop-up foul into the trees. I mean, I really got to say, if Paulsboro hangs on, again, this will be the first time in over 15 years since I have kept tracking since 2008. It will be the first time that Paulsboro beat Audubon in baseball. Now, I only have records going back to 2008 with a combination of NJ.com and Max Preps. I don't have anything before 08 except for a couple of games here and there, a couple of piecemeal, stuff, in and out once in a blue moon from newspaper reports. But here's a ground ball out to Wiltsey, picked up. Throw across to Diamond is going to be not in time. And McFadden with an infield hit. Can barely see out here with the sun glare, but since 2008, Audubon is 22-0 versus Paulsboro, and that could remain true if Audubon is a miracle 9th, or rather miracle 7th, but right now it is looking like there could be a 1 in that column. But Audubon's had very good records versus some other teams. Since 2008, they've never lost to Lindenwold. They've never lost to Woodbury. They've only had 1 or 2 losses versus Gateway. They've lost 3 times to Collingswood since 2008. 1 time in like a 15-13 game, and another time like 11-2 earlier this year. Audubon's got a handful of losses versus Haddon Township. The only team in the Colonial Conference since 2008 that Audubon has an under 500 record versus is West Deptford. They are 13-15 versus West Deptford since 2008. Throw over to first, nothing going on. Runner on first, nobody out. Charlie Grady looking to kind of put a piece of cotton over the wound as Pellegrini in a prime position here. If he can blast one over the fence, make it a double-digit game, 10-2. Throw over again, nothing going on here. I think in a 6-run game, your worry should be attacking the batter, not the runner on first base. You can turn a double play. Audubon turned a triple play earlier in the game, but that's not going to matter if you overthrow your first. They did it again. And that looked like a close play, but I didn't get my camera over in time. But good grief. Another throw. Charlie, just throw the ball to home plate. I mean, seriously, just... The objective of the game is not to throw the ball to first base. I mean, it's obviously showing that he's worried about the runner on first because he's throwing over so many times. It's not exactly logical to say. I mean, in a one-run game or a tie game, sure, throw over as many times as you like. There's no rule against it like there is in Major League Baseball. But in this kind of disciplinary part of the game, he just stepped off again. Grady works best when he works fast, and right now he's working slower than a snail. You need to pick it up a little bit, and he'll get a couple outs. And another throw over. I think there's been more throw-overs than pitches in this at-bat. I mean, seriously. This at-bat has to be going on for at least 2 or 3 minutes. He's going to finally throw to home plate, and it's a ball. Swing and a miss. So Pellegrini is retired, as he is a bit frustrated by that. This brings up Connor Haynes. Excuse me. There's a different Connor Myers in South Jersey that I confused him with. Haynes and then Hill. As that's going to be a wild pitch. Going down to second is McFadden. Here's a grounder to Wiltsey. Throw to first is in time, and it moves McFadden to third. There's 2 down. And here is Matt Hill. Right now, the pitcher slated to close out the game, but the freshman Hill getting a shot here. Strike 1. There's a ball. Foul. After this, we'd go back to the top of the order as Marcucci would get set for his 5th at-bat of the game. There's a ball. There's another one low. Should be a 3-ball count. To Hill. No, that is ball 4. Excuse me, I lost track. Here is Marcucci. 5th time up today. With runners on the corners and 2 outs. Marcucci, besides his triple play, has still had an admirable day at the plate. 2 singles and a walk. So besides that triple play, he's reached base all 3 times. That one is high, 1-0. Yeah, with Bannell still back there behind the plate, I wonder if there was some sort of injury to Zimmer, because they took him out of the game entirely once he was done pitching.
Might just need a rest, too.
I don't know. I mean, when Hinkle was done on the mound, he had thrown 80, 90 pitches, and he went out to right field. I don't know if a catcher has different exemptions, but there's a ball. There's a strike. Grounder out to Lynch, and they're going to get out of the jam. We've got 3 more outs to play, and Paulsboro looking to get a win, which would be their 6th straight for the Red Raiders. We go to the 7th, last chance for Audubon, 8-2 Paulsboro. Top of the 7th inning. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Janara Furness, Rodan and Fields Independent Consultant. Check out our Facebook page for more information, deals, and sales. Well, Matt Hill is going to try to get 3 more outs and get himself his first multi-inning appearance of the season, and what would be his first win. As, my goodness, Audubon has not been able to get the bats going, and neither have the gloves in the outfield or the infield been able to get themselves going too. As Paulsboro scored 4 runs in the first, they scored 2 in the 2nd inning. They scored another 2. They scored 1 in the 4th and 1 in the 5th. They were held scoreless in the 6th. Audubon got 1 back on a sac fly in the top half of the 6th to bring us to where we are now, 8-2. Red Raiders over the Green Waves. But Hill, as we say in the baseball industry, the last 3 outs are always the hardest ones to get. And it's 1-0 to Scott Lynch. Outside, 2-0. Looked a couple inches off the plate on my view.
Canceled like.
Strike 1. There's a strike. Hill gets back into it, and it's 2-2. Got a foul tip. The count remains 2-2.
Good.
Strike 3. Lynch keeps the bat glued to his shoulders, and there's a leadoff strikeout in the 7th. That is not the start you wanted with a deficit like this. Just can't start an inning with a strikeout looking. You got to give something a chance, but I don't think he was expecting the curveball to be that high up near his chest. I don't think he was expecting that. I think he was expecting it to move a little bit less, but alas it did. First strikeout for Hill. And it's an 0-1 count to Grady. Popped up, foul, 0-2.
And he's like begging his daughter. He's like, please sell it. And she's like, that's like the ticket.
I didn't even get. I thought I was buying. Whatever I thought I was buying. I bought the next series. If they won series and they did win, Tony and Hunter.
Downstairs.
I ended up going on stuff up and buying things. Series where Reese, we were at the Hunter and Reese bounced the ground. That was a great game. But like, and then him and Hunter went.
Popped up again, foul, and out of play.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah.
Green Wave dugout without a lot of emotion, to say the least.
You know, like he was like in total amazement. He's like, I have never.
2-strike count to Charlie Grady. Cleanup man for Audubon, and the man who looks to clean up shop and get some life into the bats. And a swing and a miss. Throw to first from Zubek is in time. 2 down. Back-to-back Ks for the freshman Hill, and this brings up Trent Bennell. Bantle the last chance for Audubon in a 6-run deficit. And Matt Hill, the freshman, looking to get a 5-out victory. Paulsboro got it started early and never let off the gas. Consistent run scoring from the first inning all the way to the last, except the 3rd and 6th innings were the only times they didn't score. It's an 0-1 count to Bantle. Here's the pitch. Down, 1-1. After this, if the ball game continues, will be Jack Dempsey. We'll have a DWB showcase tomorrow at 4 o'clock versus Maple Shade and Pittman down at Alcyon Park. The next Audubon game will be Thursday at 4 o'clock in Audubon versus the Haddonfield Bulldogs. Outside, that one skipped away. On Friday, there will not be a game as Cherry Hill West beat Buna 7-1. Therefore, they will not play Camden Catholic on Friday, and DWB will not have a broadcast. Instead, on Saturday, we'll have Audubon and Shawnee at 10 o'clock in Medford. And of course, no broadcast Sunday because it's Mother's Day, so spend some time with your family and your mama. Including our wonderful producer, Donna Wilkins. Fly ball foul, and Audubon's down to its last strike. Fans are packing up the lawn chairs, some of them on their feet. The fans are ready to celebrate for Paulsboro if they can pull this off. 6-run game, 8-2. Hill versus Bantle. Here on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Hasn't been a beautiful game for the visitors, though. 2-strike pitch and outside corner. Did not get the call.
Right there, Matt. Right there.
Just looked a couple inches off the plate in my view, but Bantle will get at least one more shot.
Right there, Matt.
6:41 local time. Here's the pitch. Ground ball out to third, and it's a foul ball. King made a valiant effort to go get that ball, but it was just a hair foul. The Red Raider faithful on their feet in a rather quiet environment here in Paulsboro. Both dugouts, not a whole lot of peeps. 8-2. Red Raiders lead over the Green Wave. Audubon. Here's the pitch, and that's gonna miss, and we'll get one more batter before the day is done at least, and Bantle will walk. So Audubon avenges what would have been a base runnerless seventh with a 2-out walk, and this brings up Dempsey.
Like 2 seconds.
You like to watch the show.
There's a strike. A 1 to Dempsey. There's another one, 0-2. One more strike for Hill. Paulsboro would improve to 9-7 with a victory. Audubon would fall to 14-5. Runner on first, 2 down, and the 0-2 pitch skips away. Bantle's going to go to second. And he gets in there. So a free base for Bantle.
I'm like, whatever. So
Audubon still down to their last strike.
I'm carrying it like this. I was like, I'm not getting it.
Again, Audubon plays Haddonfield on Thursday, Shawnee on Saturday. Marcucci not happy with his players and what they're doing in the field, but it's a 6-run game. Another chance and a pop-up out towards first and foul behind the plate.
Come on, Matt. Right here.
Paulsboro's dugout, the ones that are not in the field, are surprisingly sitting. I'm surprised considering the PowerPoints that go into this game. I'm surprised that they aren't more elated about what is probably about to happen. Last strike for Audubon, and he wavers at it. He tags him, and I guess he didn't go around.
They must not want to go. They're enjoying the
So like the ball's right down the plate. He just walks, gives the pull.
I guess the dinner reservations aren't for another hour, so still hanging on. Dempsey versus Matt Hill, the freshman right-hander. The pitch is a ground ball, fair ball to King. Throw across the diamond is going to be dropped, and it's going to go out of play, and it'll be a free run for Audubon on the E5. And Jack Dempsey will get to second base on the error, and it is now 8-3.
under 38, barely.
So Bantle scores, Dempsey gets to second base automatically. And an E5 keeps this game alive. 5-run game for Audubon. In the favor of Paulsboro, Marcucci is coming out. And he is going to talk to his man Hill.
Come on, Matt. You got it.
Hill giving some words of wisdom to his infield in a 5-run game in the favor of the Red Raiders.
Came back to third. Yeah, he thinks he's good. Yeah.
Only about a week left in the regular season, just over maybe a week and a half. Audubon's regular season schedule ends with mostly interconference games. Shawnee, if I recall correctly, is the last out-of-conference game for Audubon this year. Shawnee on Saturday, Enfield on Thursday. And then after that is a couple more Audubon home games. There's Audubon and Heights, which will be the senior day, and then the regular season will end on the 18th versus Sterling. Joey Slavin takes a strike, 0-1. You can take the runaway on the board because they brought Trent Bannell back to third. So it's runners on second and third with 2 outs, still 8-2. And a line drive into center field. That one's going to drop, so it's not going to matter anyway. And the ball is booted in center, picked up out and left. And that's going to be 8-4 as the Green Wave put 2 runs on the board thanks to a Joey Slavin RBI single. And they are staying alive, and here's Caladros. Caladros, 1 for 3. A strikeout, a pop-up, and a single in the 6th. Green Wave have brought 6 men to the plate. This is the 6th man. There's a strike, 0-1. This broadcast has got to be getting close to 3 hours, right?
Yeah, 10 minutes away.
2 minutes 50, or rather 2 hours 50 minutes. Here we go, 0-1. Slavin's running, pop up, out to left center field. McFadden dives, and he dropped the ball. A tough one running in from McFadden. And a single by Caladros on the hit and run allows Slavin to move all the way to third. After that ball was dropped and left by Donald Wilson, or rather Wilson picked it up and then McFadden just couldn't hang on. And runners are on first and third. Still with 2 outs. Matt Hill in a bit of a jam. Harley Copsetta is here to stay here in the in the 7th as the 9-hole hitter. Strike 1. 4-run game, 8-4 Paulsboro. Runners on first and third for the Green Wave. And an 0-1 count. If the game continues, and a big if, Tyler Wiltsey is next. Copsetta pops it up behind the plate and foul. And a 1-2 count. I feel like a broken record saying it. Audubon is down to their last strike again. But they have been pushing the needle ever so slightly, batter after batter. Hill versus Copsetta. The pitch. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. Copsetta is down looking, and for the first time in over 15 years, the Paulsboro Red Raiders have defeated the Audubon Green Wave. And again, it could be more than 15 years, could be 20, could be 25. All I have is records back to 2008, but that's when I was 3 years old and barely knew how to speak a full sentence or draw a straight line. But history today here in Paulsboro, as the Green Wave fall 8-4 in what was a crazy game, as Caladros allowed 4 runs in the first, another 2 later on, and only survived 2 innings. Bryce Dempsey did a little bit out and right, got a couple of good defensive plays, but it wasn't the defense's fault. There was only 1 error on the whole game. The pitching just didn't have it, and the bats caught fire late, but it was extinguished as soon as it took the flame. Paulsboro wins this one 8-4. Audubon will run for a little while, to say the least. And Paulsboro's victory here really just shows that Audubon has just not had it today. But regardless, we got a busy week ahead. Maple Shade and Pittman in a DWB showcase tomorrow at 4 o'clock in Alcyon Park. And the next Audubon game will be Audubon and Haddonfield at home, 4 o'clock on Thursday. From everybody here at Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, my graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel and Caleb Lane, my producer, Donna Wilkins, and myself, Dan Wilkins. Have a good night, everybody. Paulsboro beats Audubon 8-4. We'll see you tomorrow.